Welcome back to Traveling Dice. This is Jason. I have another top 10 list for you today. The top 10 characters in Warhammer Fantasy 8th edition. Now for this list, I am excluding any special characters. I'm focusing just on your standard stock characters coming from your Lords or Heroes portion of the army book. I think the special character options, they really deserve a conversation all to themselves. Also, in my experience, they generally weren't allowed at the tournaments that I participated in back in the heyday of 8th edition, and generally weren't played amongst my Warhammer group. So again, focusing on the regular character options. Now, characters in Warhammer are really awesome. And I'm not sure if everybody does this, but it's the place I start making my army list is looking at the characters. Your characters are going to be doing exciting things in the game, slinging powerful spells, wielding awesome weapons. And honestly, best of all, the general is the representation of you on the battlefield. So whoever your general is, that's your representative on the battlefield. And I always felt that way. Like, I cared more about how my characters performed than my regular troops for some odd reason, even though logically I know I'm not actually on the battlefield. There's something special about your characters. So without further ado, let's take a look at the top 10 character choices in all of Warhammer. We are kicking the list off with an honorable mention, the DREADLORD on Black Dragon. There are a lot of cool dragon options in Warhammer, and I think the DREADLORD on Black Dragon's the best option, in part because of the equipment and magic items available to the DREADLORD that just aren't available to other army lists. But let's start off taking a look at these stats. With the DREADLORD on top, okay, movement 5, that's going to be totally irrelevant. He's on a flying dragon. Weapon skill 7, awesome. Ballistic skill 7, good. Strength 4, toughness 3, all right, he's an elf. Wounds 3, initiative 8, 4 attacks, leadership 10. And of course, if this guy's your general, then that's going to give you an 18-inch inspiring presence range because he's going to be a large target. Now he's on a black dragon, okay? He's movement 6, really 10 because he's flying. Weapon skill 6, ballistic skill 0, strength 6, toughness 6, 6 wounds. This guy's hard to take down. He's got an initiative of 3, 5 attacks, leadership 8. Now, the Black Dragon has a 3-up armor save. I think that's fairly standard amongst dragons. And his breath weapon is strength 2, but no armor saves. So strength 2, no armor save, breath weapon, situationally, I think is superior to a strength 4 breath weapon. Now, granted, this totally depends on what you're going up against. But strength 2, no armor saves is really appealing in certain matchups. A lot of your elves that you'll be facing, high elves, anything with high armor, right? So Empire Knights, toughness 3, no armor saves? Yeah, I'll take that all day long. Okay, 5s to wound and you're getting no save. Yes, thank you. The Black Dragon's great, but the guy on top is really what sells me here. He has access to some mundane equipment that you simply don't get in other armies. The Sea Dragon Cloak. I just am enamored with the Sea Dragon Cloak option for Dark Elf characters. It's going to give you a 5-up scaly skin. You couple that with heavy armor and a mundane shield while being mounted. You're getting a 1-up armor save without even tapping into magic items. Just awesome. Now, the magic item that I'm eyeing for this guy is the Cloak of Twilight, which is only available to Dark Elves. It's 50 points. It gives you a 3-up ward save against shooting and spells. So the big knock for me on putting a fighty guy on a dragon is that you're going to run into some cannonballs. Right now, a cannon against a dragon is good, but a cannon is not likely to take a dragon down in one shot. It's not even guaranteed in 2 shots, all right? I think conceivably it's going to take you 3 shots at a dragon, right? You're going to maybe miss on one, or you're going to fail to wound on one. Now, granted, you could hit him the first time, roll the 6 for the number of wounds, and just drop him. So I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's improbable, right? But the guy on top is the real vulnerable guy, in my opinion. So even giving him a 4-up ward, it's only 50-50. That 3-up ward, it just makes me feel so much more confident with this guy. Okay, so 3-up ward against not only shooting, but also magic. And with the Cloak of Twilight, in the first round of combat, you're getting Killing Blow and multiple wounds D3. ouch. This guy is just going to be a can opener. Now, I'm also going to give him the Sword of Might for 20 points, plus 1 strength. So he's coming in with strength 5. He's got always strikes first because he's an elf. He's going to be re-rolling misses. With the Murderous Prowess, he's going to be re-rolling 1s that he rolls to wound. And then the wounds that he gets through, they have potential of killing blow and D3 wounds. And then you haven't even struck with your dragon yet. Man, this guy's just brutal. I love him. The only thing I wish is maybe that ward save would go into the dragon, but I'm getting greedy at this point. He does come in at a hefty price tag, 527. He's my honorable mention. And going over to the official list in the 10 spot, we have the DOOMBULL from the Beastmen list. I am just super impressed with this guy. Look at the stat line. Movement 6, weapon skill 6, ballistic skill 3, strength 6, toughness 5, 5 wounds, and 5 attacks. Make that 6 because he's frenzied. Leadership 8. He's coming in with impact hits D3. Now, the thing that really makes him shine are some of the really unique magic item options that exist in the Beastmen book. Okay, so we'll start with the mundane equipment. I'm going to give him heavy armor and a shield. He's got a 4-up armor save so far. In the Beastmen book, he has the option of taking the ram horn helm. This is going to boost his armor by 1, so we're down to a 3-up. And I'll tell you what the other thing that helm does after I finish up his armor save here. We're going to give him Gnarled Hide, 5-up Scaly Skin. So he's now down to a 1-up armor save. Perfect. That's what you want. Dawnstone, 25 points. He's re-rolling armor saves, okay? So we have a 1-up re-rollable. And I'm also going to give him the Talisman of Preservation, 4-up ward. So this guy is hard to kill, but he also packs a punch. He's got a 1-up re-rollable armor save, 4-up ward. Okay, he's got a boatload of strength 6 attacks. But let's look at the other thing that the ram horn helm does. For every armor save you make, the bearer immediately makes a bonus attack at their base strength. His base strength is 6. Hello, 1-up rerollable armor save, and you're going to make armor saves before you make ward saves. So the 4-up ward's just there as an insurance policy at this point, really. And you want this guy to get hit. You want this guy to get wounded. I'm putting him at the corner of the unit. I might send him into a unit all by himself. Guess what? All your attacks have to go against him. Guess what, witch elves? Yeah, go ahead. Poison me. Poison me all day long. I got a 1-up rerollable, and for every one I make, I'm making an additional attack at my base strength. Yeah, baby. I love him. I absolutely love him. Now, he's a little pricey here. He's coming in, all those kitted out, 353 points. But this guy can easily be sent into a unit by himself. I love him. He's number 10. All right, so going into the 9th spot, we're taking a look at the Ogre Kingdoms and focusing on the Firebelly, the 9th best character option in all of Warhammer Fantasy. Let's take a look at his stat line. His movement 6, weapon skill 3, ballistic skill 2, strength 4, toughness 5, 4 wounds, his initiative 2, 3 attacks, leadership 7. Now this guy's going to be on the Lore of Fire. I like boosting him up to a level 2. Lore of Fire is just a great lore. I really like this guy in a small points game. You got a 1,000-point army. This guy could be your general. And look, for a wizard, he's not bad in combat. You have the option of giving him a mundane great weapon for 9 points. I love that option. We just boosted his attacks up to strength 6, and he's got 3 of them. Essentially, he's like an Iron Gut in combat. But he also comes with just an innate Fire Breath attack at strength 4. So you're going to pop that in combat. You're doing 2d6 strength 4 attacks. Even though this guy's not going to have a ton of defense because I'm not spending money on getting him a ward save. But, you know, toughness 5, 4 wounds. He's probably not going down the first round of combat. So he's going to fight multiple rounds. I like giving him the Dispel Scroll and the Ruby Ring of Ruin. Just round him out here. Ruby Ring of Ruin, I'm probably taking the signature spell plus something else. And I've got something that can reach out and touch you. And then I've also got a guy who can really pack a punch in combat. Put him into units of Iron Guts. He's absorbing a bunch of attacks with his toughness 5. And he's also probably tipping that combat in your favor pretty heavily with the breath attack. With the Dispel Scroll, the Great Weapon, and the Ruby Ring, plus level 2 Wizard, he's coming in at 214 points. A great option. The 8th spot belongs to the Wood Elves with the TREEMAN Ancient. This guy's awesome, right? Monster character options. I just love it. Movement 5, weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 4, strength 5, toughness 6 with 6 wounds. He's got initiative 2. He's only got 3 attacks, but he is a wizard, so, you know, it's cool. Leadership 10, which is great because he's stubborn. Now, he's coming in with an armor save of 3+ with scaly skin and a 6-up ward. He doesn't have options for magical equipment, which is okay. Like I mentioned, he's stubborn, so he's going to be really hard to kill. But the thing that I think actually makes him harder to kill is the fact that he's a life wizard. I like making him a level 4. Now, some people say, oh, don't make your fighty guy your main wizard. I actually disagree. I think there's times in life where all your eggs in one basket does not pay off. I actually don't think Warhammer Fantasy is one of those times. I think put them all in one basket. You get a lot of value from the points. You get a guy that can fight and cast spells all in one. Is he going to die to Dimensional Cascade every once in a while? Yeah, and you lose your general and your wizard, and guess what? Those times are going to suck. But most of the time, that's not going to happen. He's really hard to kill. You get in a twofer, I think you always go for it, in my opinion. Lower life, this guy's going to be in some prolonged combats because it's going to take him a while to grind stuff down. He's only got 3 attacks. He's relying on the Thunder Stomp, but he's stubborn. He's going to hang around. Leadership 10. If you got the BSB nearby, he's going to be there all day long. And he's hard to kill because you're a level 4 wizard on life. You're going to be easily casting life spells. The life spells are really good. They can easily swing a combat for you. They can easily kill a bunch of guys. And every time you cast a spell, you're healing this guy 1 wound. So even as your opponent starts to whittle him down, your magic phase rolls around, you're easily healing him 2 or 3 points. He's great. I love him. He's coming in, all those options, level 4, fully kitted out, 360 points. And honestly, I think he's a bargain. I think my 7th spot might surprise some people here, but we're going to the Orcs and Goblins and taking a look at the Goblin War Boss at number 7. This guy is sneaky good, and I just want to throw out the caveat, especially in small points games. This guy can just wreak havoc. He's base 65 points, so you're getting a Fighty Lord for 65 points. Okay, his stats aren't going to blow you away. He's movement 4, he's weapon skill 5, exceptional by Goblin standards. Ballistic skill 3, strength 4, toughness 4, 3 wounds, initiative 4, 4 attacks, and leadership 8. But you can fully kit him out with a great weapon and a 4-up ward from the Talisman of Protection, and he's totaling out at 116 points. And you can take that in a 600-point army. So you're getting a guy that has a 4-up ward, has 4 strength 6 attacks. As your general, put him in the corner of the unit. That ward save is going to absorb some attacks, and he can deal some damage here. And I think he catches some people off guard. I think he's a great value at 116 points. He's not going to wreck your opponent's army, by himself, but he can tip a combat. He's in there with the Night Goblins and the Nets, and everything kind of jives together, and this guy just tips the combat in your favor. You can give him light armor for 3 points. Honestly, generally, I don't even bother. I find a 6-up armor save, it just doesn't help that much, in my opinion. Obviously, if you're getting hit by strength 4, it's just completely negated to begin with. Even in those times when you're getting hit by strength 3, you got to roll a 6. So I'm just going to roll with that 4-up ward, great weapon. But this guy's sneaky good, and I really like him. The 6th spot belongs to the Dwarfs with the Ruinsmith. The Ruinsmith is just such a great value. He does so many things for, honestly, a really modest number of points. So the Ruinsmith is coming in at base 60 points. He's movement 3, weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 4, strength 4, toughness 4, 2 wounds, 2 initiative, 2 attacks, leadership 9. All right, so he comes with Gromwheel armor, just stock. You give him a great weapon for 6 points. So you're up to 2 strength 6 attacks. It's not really why you're taking this guy, but hey, I'll take 2 strength 6 attacks. Sure, no problem. You give him a Rune of Stone, so he's got a 3-up armor, right? So he can absorb some damage, right? Even against strength 5 attacks, you're going to have a 5-up armor save. Now, this is where the real value of this guy comes in. He gives a unit, he has magic resist 1, right? So he's going to be in there with a unit. So essentially he's transferring magic resist 1 to the unit. That's a value of about 15 points. If you just paid for a magic item that did that, it would cost you 15 points normally for an army. Now, in addition to that, he has the Forge Fire rule. A unit that he joins, the whole unit gains armor piercing. That's just awesome. Now, There are options for doing this in other armies, right? You have access to the Razor banner. It's a 45-point banner in the common rulebook. 45 points. What that 45-point banner does, it gives your unit armor-piercing attacks. So think about that. For 15 more points, I'm getting a guy that has 2 what we're going to boost to strength 6 attacks, that is also transferring MR1, that also gets to channel, and I can throw a dispel scroll on him, although for an extra 20 points, I like giving him a spell breaking ruin, which means not only am I dispelling your spell, but on a 4-up, I'm destroying it. It's just insane value to me. I really like this guy. Sneaky good. He comes in, if you give him the spell breaking ruin, 116 points. That includes the great weapon, the Rune of Stone, and everything. He's boosting your unit. He's giving you magic defense. He's just so versatile. Really great value and a big asset to the dwarfs. The number 5 spot is going to the Exalted Hero from the Warriors of Chaos list. I have referred to this guy as the unkillable BSB, unkillable mounted guy in the Chaos Warriors army. He is just real frustrating to deal with. You're going to mount him on a demonic mount that's barded. That's going to cost you an additional 50 points. His base is 110 points. Take a look at these stats. Movement 4, weapon skill 7. Ouch. Ballistic skill 3, strength 5, toughness 4. Now that's going to get boosted to 5 because he's on the demonic mount. Wounds 2, the wounds are going to get boosted to 3, again, because he's on the monstrous mount. Initiative 6, 4 attacks, leadership 8. Demonic mount is movement 8, weapon skill 4, strength 5, toughness 5, which he's conferring to the Exalted Hero, 3 wounds, initiative 3, 2 attacks, and leadership 8. Now, I'm going to mark this guy Tzeentch. I'm going to give him a shield, and he's coming with Chaos Armor. So we're up to a 1-up armor, and I'm going to give him the Talisman of Protection, 4-up ward for 45 points. Couple that with a mark of Tzeentch, he now has a 3-up ward, and then you're going to tap into the Chaos powers and give him the 3rd eye of Tzeentch, which is going to have him re-roll ward saves of 1. So he's got a 3-up ward, and he's re-rolling failed ward saves of 1. This guy is really, really hard to kill. Very frustrating, right? He can absorb lots of cannonballs. He can absorb lots of missile fire, lots of melee attacks. He's toughness 5. So even before that, you're going to have a hard time hitting him. Weapon skill 7. You're probably hitting this guy on 4s. There's not a lot out there that's hitting him on 3s. And then, you know, toughness 5, you're wounding him probably on 4s, maybe 3s, on occasion 2s, but yeah, it's not coming up a ton. You got to get through the armor save and then through the ward save. Now, granted, he only has 4 strength 5 attacks, so it's not like he's going to murder your opponent's whole army. But he's just so dependable, so reliable. You know that he's not going to take damage. You know that he is just going to be where you need him to be, hold up what you need him to hold up. You're paying a fair price for him, 253 points. I like the idea of making him the BSB for another 25 points, so that brings you up to that 253. Unkillable BSB. It's a real asset to the army, and, you know, it's reasonable because he's not going to kill so much to take this guy. I think he's a great option. Going over to the number 4 spot, the Vampire counts, Vampire Lord. This guy is just awesome. Movement 6, weapon skill 7, ballistic skill 5. He's strength 5, toughness 5, 3 wounds, initiative 7, 5 attacks. Getting that 5th attack. You don't always see that from a Lord. Leadership 10. Now, again, I'm a big proponent of if you can make your fighting guy your wizard, you do it. So I think you make this guy a level 4 wizard for 105 points. Yeah, is it a risk? It's a risk, but sometimes I think, you know, you got to push all the chips in. So that's just my style with these guys. Your mileage may vary. I like giving them heavy armor for 6 points, an enchanted shield for 5 points. So that's bringing us to a 3-up armor save. The Ogre Blade on this guy, +2 strength, so he's strength 7. He is going to chop up most things in Warhammer at strength 7. And I'm going to give him the Talisman of Protection for sure. So 3-up armor, 4-up ward, hard to kill. Plus, you can heal yourself with your magic. So this is a real asset for this guy. Even if he does take a wound or 2, you can feel fairly confident that you can bring this guy back up and top him off. In terms of the vampiric powers, I like Red Fury for 50 points and Quick Blood for 30 points. Red Fury is going to give you an additional attack for every unsaved wound that you cause. Now, the attacks that you gain from Red Fury don't benefit from Red Fury, which I think is a good thing. I think this could get silly if it did. Quick Blood is going to give you always strikes first. So you have 5 attacks, always strike first, weapon skill 7. You're generally going to be hitting on 3s with a reroll. It's reasonable to expect 4, and sometimes 5 hits. But I think expecting 4 hits from that is pretty reasonable expectation. Strength 7, I mean, it's not unlikely that you're going to wound with all of them, but okay, let's say you only wound with 3, and then you're probably getting through most armor saves at strength 7, so let's say you get 3 wounds through, then you're getting 3 additional attacks. Just awesome. You can mount him on a Barded Nightmare. I think this totally depends. For me, you know, if I'm running Cav, if I'm running him with the Black Knights, then yeah, throw him on a Barded Nightmare, throw him in there, and just let him rip. If you're running mostly infantry, I think this guy's fine on foot, and honestly, it's hard to put him in the wrong spot. He could go in with zombies, he could go in with ghouls, he could go almost anywhere, and he's just going to wreck face. And he's coming in at a hefty price tag, so he's 501 points, but one of the best characters in the game. The number 3 spot belongs to the Demons of Chaos with the Bloodthirster. This guy is a thumper. Movement 8, weapon skill 10. Ballistic skill 10. Too bad you can't give him a bow. Strength 6, toughness 6. 5 wounds, initiative 9. 6 attacks. You can get up to 7 because he comes with additional hand weapon. And he's leadership 9. He comes stock with heavy armor. Magic resistance 2. So you could couple that with his 5-up ward just for being a demon. Now against spells, you got a 3-up ward. Your opponent's probably not even going to bother, honestly. I like giving him a lesser gift for 25 points. And I'm just going for always strikes first here. So either roll it up or take the magic weapon that gives you always strikes first. So with always strikes first, this guy has 7 attacks that are going first at weapon skill 10. So you're going to be hitting on 3s. And he's initiative 9. So you're going to be rerolling. So 7 hitting on 3, rerolling, strength 6 attacks. It's hard to go wrong. Plus he's got a thunder stomp. He's flying. So you get to pick your fight, right? This guy's not going to be ending up fighting something that you don't want him to be fighting, and especially early on in the game. So you just send him in, you pick the vulnerable spot, you exploit it with this guy. It's really hard to use him wrong. With that lesser gift, he is a hefty 425 points, but he is called the Bloodthirster for a reason. He's a killing machine. A lot of fun. All right, the number 2 spot also belongs to the Demons of Chaos. They're one of the best armies for a reason. The Great Unclean One. Base cost 375 points. Take a look at this stat line. Movement 6, weapon skill 6, ballistic skill 3, strength 6, toughness 7. Hello. Wounds 6, 4 initiative, 5 attacks, leadership 9. There is something special about toughness 7, right? The Soul Grinder has it. It doesn't come up a lot, but when you hit that toughness 7, Strength 5 needs 6s to wound you. In my experience, and your mileage might vary, but in my experience, you see a lot of Strength 5 out there, and Strength 5 generally gets it done. But when Strength 5 runs into this guy, all of a sudden, you're wounding on 6s. And he's got a 5-up ward. This guy is really hard to bring down. In addition to that, he's -1 to hit because he's a Nurgle demon. So your weapon skill 6, -1 to hit. You're probably hitting this guy on 5s, generally speaking, especially if you're talking about just troops. You're hitting it on 5s. A lot of times you're going to be, best case scenario, probably wounding him on 5s, but a lot of the times you're going to be wounding him on 6s, and he has 6 wounds. Just a beast. He's got 5 attacks. They're poisoned in addition to his very respectable weapon skill of 6. And this guy can be your wizard. Again, I like making your fighting guy your wizard every time you have the opportunity to do it. 105 additional points, I'm making him a level 4. I don't think this guy really benefits that much from the gifts. You know, if I could guarantee that he would roll a 2-up armor save, yeah, I would do that, but it's just too random. I don't think he really needs a magic weapon, so I don't bother with the gifts on this guy. Making him the level 4 wizard, he does come in at 480 points. I think he's a bargain. He kind of does it all. You have 2 options for lores, the lore of Nurgle or the lore of death. It's hard to go wrong. I would probably tip my cap to the lore of death, but again, Nurgle's got a lot of great options, and your opponent may not be as familiar with it because the lore of death's probably more common, but they're both great. They both can do damage. They both can, you know, throw a hex on your opponent in a critical combat, etc. This guy's fun to play, and he does it all. And without further ado, the #1 spot from the Warriors of Chaos. Yep, you guessed it, the Demon Prince. This guy is just a lot to deal with. Movement 8, weapon skill 9, ballistic skill 5, strength 6, toughness 5. The only thing I can say is that he's only got 4 wounds. Initiative 8, 5 attacks, leadership 9. So you're going to give him Chaos Armor for 20 points. You have the option of giving him Flight for 40 points. So I want to pause here on the Flight option. The Flight option is great. If you are optimizing this guy, if you're building a uber competitive list, if you're going to a tournament, you want to take the Flight for 40 points. It's really good. If you're fighting a Warriors of Chaos player and they bring this guy and he's fully kitted out minus the Flight, you should pause and tip your cap to your opponent, because in my opinion, not giving him the Flight is a massive concession. And it is showing a lot of restraint on your opponent's part, because the difference between this killing machine on foot and this killing machine flying is night and day, in my opinion. Now, you might be saying, Jason, he's movement 8. He's only getting +2 movement when you give him Flight. That's true. He's still fast. He's still going to be in your face. He still can move across the battlefield pretty quickly. But he cannot go over terrain. He cannot go over units. This changes the whole dynamics of this guy. It means you can chaff him up, right? You can land a unit of harpies in front of him. You can move a single troll in front of him, and he either has to go around that unit or he has to fight it. And sometimes fighting a cheap unit is the worst thing that you can do with this guy, right? You want him just in the thick of things. You want him taking out your opponent's characters. You want him taking out your opponent's elite units, because this guy is definitely a killing machine. So I'm sorry to go on a diatribe just about Flight, but there is a huge difference. And when you see somebody not take the Flight, recognize your opponent for what they're doing. And I think even, you know, say, hey, good sport. So, okay, moving on. I like the Mark Zinch on this guy, and he's going to be a wizard, for me at least, and I'm going lower metal. I'm going to make him a level 4 for 140 points. Now, what makes this guy so awesome? It's just one word, honestly. One word that makes this guy so good. Unbreakable. He's unbreakable. He is unbreakable, which means you have to kill him. Right, he's not going to run. He's not taking a break test. He's not crumbling like other demons. Nope, you have to kill him. And killing this guy is no easy feat, because let's take a look at the rest of his loadout. I'm going to give him Soul Feeder for 10 points, which means every time he does a wound, on a roll of a 6, he's regaining a wound. Okay, so he has the option of just killing you and healing himself. I'm giving him Third Eye of Zinch, which allows him to reroll ward saves of 1. I'm giving him the Scaled Skin, which is a 5-up scaly skin. Sword of Striking, +1 to hit. Charm Shield, which means the first hit is discounted on the roll of a 2+, so go ahead, shoot me with your cannon. And I'm giving him the Dragon Bane Gem for a 2-up ward against Flaming. So you couple all that together. You've got the Chaos Armor with the 5-up scaly skin and a shield. You got a 1-up armor save. You've got a 5-up ward because you're a demon, and that 5-up ward becomes a 4-up ward because you are a demon of Zinch. So 1-up armor, 4-up ward, with the ability to heal yourself every time you're doing damage. I'm re-rolling failed ward saves of 1. So I'm unbreakable, and I'm exceptionally hard to kill. And I got the Dragon Bane Gem, so I have a 2-up ward against flaming attacks. Now, a lot of your dwarf cannons are going to have the flaming on there because it's a great option most of the time. This is not one of them, right? You're just totally negating your opponent's ranged attacks that are kitted out to take down the Chimera, to take down the other stuff with regen. And once I'm in combat, you're just stuck there. You got to get 4 wounds through. And I'm hard to hit, and I got a great armor save, and I got a great ward save, and I'm just doing boatloads of damage. I'm challenging your characters out, or I'm just assassinating them, and I'm just grinding on you. Level 4 on metal. Metal's a great lore. It's got damage, it's got hexes, it's kind of got a little bit of everything. It's got some augments. 500 points. man, I don't even think it's close. I didn't have to give the number one, honestly, much thought at all. So let me know if you disagree with that. I'm really curious if anybody thinks that there is an option in Warhammer Fantasy 8th edition, character-wise, non-special character, that is actually better than the Demon Prince from the Warriors of Chaos. Because I just don't see it. This guy is awesome. If I left out somebody from one of the army books, a character option, and you think that it deserved to be on the list, let me know in the comments. I'm curious to hear about it. If you enjoyed this video and you know someone who you think would also enjoy the video, I ask that you consider sharing it with them. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed it. Bye for now.